to prevent the spreading of the parish land for 1,000 years.
Fertile in Girdlegard, and rightly give the kingdom its nickname of the breadbasket. The east of the land has been in revolt since the parish land advanced, and the peace seems to have broken in the heartland too, as a group of strangers crawl out of a hole in the ground.
Why don't we just look for a tunnel that hasn't collapsed?
And what if we don't find one? If we're overground, we at least know that there's a way, even if it's dangerous. Let's go.
How is Goimgard level 10? He hasn't done shit! Belindis. I gotta check out her skills. Look at this motherfucker. I really like Boindle, but I'm gonna try. I gotta level up Namora some if she's gonna be the one to wield it. Tungdil and his harem. I can try that out. Um,
Roodacre is, contrary to what the name suggests, a large city. If Rodario is to be believed, more than 70,000 people live here, a number that you find it hard to even imagine. But while you walk through the streets, you don't doubt that it's the truth. Never before have you seen such huge masses of people.
If we are looking for somewhere to quench our thirst or for a roof over our heads, then I would recommend the Golden Well Tavern. And we can find everything we need for the rest of our journey at the Big Market. Just say where you want to go, Tungdil, and I'll show you the way.
can I go to both?
The Big Market at the city's south gate certainly lives up to its name. You have never seen a market on such a scale. Stands, large and small, as far as the eye can see. Everything you could possibly need can be found here, as well as plenty of things that seem to have no use at all. While you push your way through the crowd to get to the trader Rodario wants to introduce to you, you overhear two peasants talking about elves.
No, I tell ya, it was elves. Pale skin, pointy ears.
Yeah, something strange is going on these days. Old Trundlewood from down Acre Hill way said he saw some pointy ears too. Come to think of it, where's he been all week?
Here we are.
Rodario's sudden announcement draws your attention away from the locals, to the tent that you're now standing in front of.
Welcome to Brand's Potpourri. Whatever your heart may desire, I can supply.
I very much doubt that. Ooh. I don't want to, like, spend all my money here. I better buy a couple provisions, though, just in case.
You follow Rodario through the lively streets until he reaches a run-down two-story building. You hope that this dump isn't the tavern that Roodacre recommends. You prepare yourself for the worst, but the inside of the tavern surprises you all. The walls are clad with dark, finely ornamented wood. The floor is clean, the tables are weighed down with good food, and a hot fire is burning in the fireplace. One should never judge a book by its cover. The guests look you over full of curiosity, and many nod a greeting. The haggard woman behind the bar greets you loudly.
Roodacre, you old rogue! What are you doing here? And you've got dwarves with you! I don't see one my whole life and then several come along in the same month.
We are on an important mission, Madame Flori, and could do with a place to stay the night.
Roodacre introduces you and negotiates a good price for a few beds and a night's lodgings.
Sorry for asking, but you said you'd seen some other dwarves recently.
You're thinking of Gandagar's group and wonder whether they might have reached the kingdom of the Fifthlings already.
Yes, a nice bloke from the west. Paid for his room for a month in advance and then disappeared. Travelling lights.
The landlady's expression darkens.
That was 3 weeks ago. If he doesn't come back soon, I'll have to release the room.
You give Namora a sign and sneak onto the first floor. The half-elf appears moments later. To your surprise, she has Balandis with her, who must have caught something of what was said.
I want to know who the dwarf who is sneaking around here is. Perhaps he belongs to Gandagar's group.
After apologizing to various guests for intruding, you are left with just one untried door. Namora picks the lock, and you enter the room unseen. The room is bigger than all the rooms in the tavern you have seen so far, and all just for one guest. There are maps, various pieces of notepaper, and 3 notebooks on the table. The notes are partly written in Dwarvish, and partly in the language of humans. The 3 of you scan through them, until Balandis draws your attention to a map, on which the route from the kingdom of the Firstlings to the kingdom of the Fifthlings is marked.
Ooh.
What would make a firstling travel to the perished land, or even to the kingdom of the Fifthlings?
You believe you've found an explanation.
Here, this letter. I have found a way, but I don't know if I will return safely with Star Slasher. That's why I leave to you, dear Barris, my notes, may you, and so on.
Star Slasher?
You have come across this name in the notes a few times already, but you just shrug your shoulders and throw the letter back onto the table in disappointment. You had hoped to have found out some news on the whereabouts of the other group.
A sword. Apparently it was given to Giselbert I and I by a caravan travelling from the other lands. It seems we're dealing with a treasure hunter.
Why is it saying all those people are removed from my party?
You are woken with a jolt in the middle of the night by a blood-curdling scream. You look around in panic and see that the others have been woken too, but only Geralda has beads of sweat on her brow. She's breathing heavily. Concerned, you go over to her.
I can remember. The Alfar. They are doing experiments on the children of the Smith. We have to save them.
Alpha? Experiments? What are you talking about?
I can remember everything. Or at least some of it. I know that I was taken prisoner by the Alfar, along with other dwarfs. They experimented on us, and I somehow escaped.
Where was this exactly?
They are here, nearby. It was a village, I think.
An Alfar village in Tabain? Doesn't sound very likely.
By Vracus, if the Alpha are experimenting on dwarves, we can't just ignore it. We have to free the prisoners. We can't save the world if we ignore the suffering right in front of our eyes. We will help Geralda.
Boandal and the others accept your decision. Geralda nods at you gratefully.
That's a typo. Bowendahl is not in the party. Stop it. I'm guessing this is the village. Ah. I just want to go here.
When you reach Acre there isn't a single villager in sight. An uneasy feeling creeps over you, which finally turns into certainty when you see red paintings on the walls of the houses.
Alpha.
As expected, you don't find any survivors, but there are also no undead. The Perish land has not yet advanced this far. You discover some footprints on the northern edge of the village.
It was orcs. Looks as though they waited here while the point ears wreaked havoc in the village. It seems like they moved on towards the north.
The pictures, painted in blood, tell the horrifying story of how the Alfar came to the village and killed the inhabitants. You also find a few elaborately carved bones, some larger ones, like those of humans, some smaller and stronger, like those of dwarves. When you reach the other end of the village, disgust is written in the faces of your companions. None of you says a word. You gather all the bones you can find together and burn them. You wash over the paintings with water from the well. You weren't able to prevent this gruesome incident, but you don't want to leave a single trace of it behind. You walk through the villages that once blossomed, but are now deserted due to the advance of the Perish land. The colour has drained away from the wood of many of the houses, just as it has from the countryside itself. A carpet of withered plants rustles and crackles under your feet. You don't know if the Perish land can ever be driven away again, and even if it can, it is questionable whether people will ever live here again. You sigh, and try to drive these dark thoughts away from your mind.
Just there we go.
Some way from the path, you come across an old campsite between some rocks. A trampled out campfire and scattered belongings, papers, bottles and a necklace, suggests that the traveller either had to flee in a hurry or was abducted.
That is a firstling necklace. I recognise the emblem. It belongs to the clan of the Roughblades.
We only know of one firstling out so far west these days, the dwarf whose notes we found in the tavern.
Star Slasher. If King Giselbert really did wield this sword, it would be an unbelievably valuable artifact. Just imagine if the sword really existed.
It's not worth losing your life for, or, in the worst case, losing your life and then rising again.
You look around again more closely, but there's not much here that could help you. The ground is too hard for footprints, and the objects that have been left behind could have come from any old dwarf trader.
Do you know anything about the Roughblades, Baladis?
Every firstling knows of the clan. They have a long tradition as weaponsmiths, though their work is often exotic and sometimes thought of as undwarfish. They experiment a lot with blade shapes and hilt lengths. Their weapons are easy to recognise.
Sounds as though someone from a clan like that would definitely be very interested in a legendary sword.
Ooh, do you smell that? Come! Oink, oink!
Without even waiting for you, Boindil runs over the hill and disappears behind it. You follow him, and as you reach the brow, you see a very strange scene before you.
What?